What's good, guys? This is Miasin, another one of those interaction videos where I will show you a lot of plays that a lot of people, actually not just some, a lot of people will just misplay and panic when they are in front of these situations. They're going to have the answer, the obvious answer to the play, but like I said, since they don't really know how the interaction works, they're just going to mess up like crazy. So before we get into all these plays, make sure you like and subscribe, and let's get right into it. So play number one, let's just say your opponent has like invoked Merkaba with like and you have like Lancia and a powerful card that could unfortunately be negated by the Merkaba. You use it, your opponent uses Merkaba, you chain Lancia, what happens? Is your revolt actually going to resolve because Merkaba has to negate and banish? What do you think? Do you think that's how it works? Actually, it's not how it works. I mean, the revolt is actually going to be negated. It's not going to successfully resolve because Merkaba says negate the activation, and if you do, banish the card. It doesn't have to destroy and banish or whatever, or like banish and then negate or something like that. As long as it tries to resolve as much as possible by negating the activation, whatever happens at the very end is completely irrelevant. So even under Lancia, if you chain Lancia to Merkaba's negation effect, it's not going to matter at all. So you're going to be losing and you're going to be really mad. Okay, so next one is it's literally the exact same thing, but this time we're going to use the artifact Lancia preemptively, and not in the same chain. So the chain after, we're going to, well, start a chain, okay, in open game state. Oh my god, Jeffrey. Yeah, we're going to use the revolt. Can our opponent negate? The answer is obviously no, because this time you can't like fully resolve Merkaba. Banishing the card that you're trying to negate is still part of the overall effect. So if you can't banish, it's not going to try to resolve as much as possible. I know it kind of makes like no sense if you don't really know like, I don't know how to say it, like connecting words in Yu-Gi-Oh, but yeah, and if you do and stuff like that, all those words are going to be like super important. But yeah, in Yu-Gi-Oh, when a card is already using its effect, if you're trying to block like step B from happening, step A is still going to try to resolve as much as possible, and if it gets to step B, like realizes that it can't do anything, then it's going to be like, okay, I'll stop resolving there. When you stop step B before step A even has a chance to, you know, trigger, well, this is a completely different story. So yeah, the revolt will work. The opponent can simply not negate it with by discarding the Solemn Strike, and you could win, except that I'm showing like the most random example out there when I'm playing Lancia and Shrine Brigade, so I can't even banish the Merkaba. But oh, okay, who cares about that? Okay, it's just an example, Bernard. Let's get into the next one. Okay, this is a great, and I said great, way to lose in regionals and even YCSs, and ironically, this is a misplay that I've done myself. So yeah, I'm pitiful, man. Even after all my experience, I still misplay sometimes. I was playing against Thunder Dragon, and for some freaking reason, I was like, you know what, I'm not gonna Lancia on standby. This is what happens when you don't Lancia on standby. Your opponent goes Allure of Darkness, and you're like, okay, if he's playing Thunder Dragons, just by banishing the Thunder Dragon monster, he's already plussing. But now what you're doing is that you're almost transforming this Allure of Darkness into Pot of Greed, because now your opponent will not have to send the cards from the hand to the graveyard, as long as he can hope that you're going to trust him, because thanks to the ruling with Mind Crush, you no longer have to prove your opponent that you have a certain card, like a dark monster, for example. You just have to trust him. Like, oh, bro, I swear, bro, I have a dark, bro. I'm just telling you, bro. But yeah, definitely a great way to lose. Let's get into the next one. Okay, same thing. Well, I mean, same kind of concept, but this time we're shotgunning the Lancia. The opponent can't do anything at all, so yeah, can't activate the Allure of Darkness. Merry Christmas. Okay, another great way to lose is by not reading cards. You have Cosmic Cyclone, your opponent has multi-roll, and a back row, whatever, anything that can be send with multi-roll. What happens if you go Cosmic Cyclone on the card that your opponent is targeting with the multi-roll? Is the protection effect still going to work? You're feeling really confident about that. You're like, oh, I don't want to banish multi-roll or like destroy or do anything about it. Let's just say that you have a card that can only destroy face-down cards, so you can't hit that multi-roll, and you think that it's going to be enough to get you there. Well, absolutely not. Your opponent can still use Engage or whatever card, and you can't freaking respond. And the reason for that is because multi-roll doesn't have to successfully do anything with the card that it's targeting in order to apply its effect, because of the word also. Also is actually very rare in cards in general. We usually see like, and if you do then, stuff like that, but not really also. The multi-roll is still going to have the protection effect, and you're going to die. Last and probably least at this point, because it's not really relevant anymore, but it used to be relevant. If this is the kind of thing that your judges are going to kind of be like, what, are you sure about that? I mean, especially since these cards were like very played competitively. There was a deck in 2015 that, no, sorry, that's not 2015, 2016, that it was actually Yangzing Metal Foes that could actually make multiple negates turn 1, and yeah, it would be this strategy where you would actually destroy your own Yangzing monsters. Now the Yangzing monsters, they're all like optional wet effects, so they miss timing if their destruction is not the last thing to happen. So look at this very carefully. The effects of the Metal Foes are like destroy one monster you control, and if you do, set one Metal Foe spell or trap. So again, the and if you do is so ridiculously important here, because it's kind of like going to happen simultaneously, even though when you read then, it almost looks like they happen simultaneously, but it's not really the case. One action is going to happen like before another, so yeah, it's not really the same thing. So your Yangzing monster is going to die, you're going to set the combination, and then, you're going to summon your Yangzing monster. So, okay, whatever. I really hope this was as clear as possible, but if there are still any confusions, make sure you leave those comments in the comment section below. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.